All right, and we're rolling.
All right. Hey, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, coach.
So I think we just wanted to do this to kind of talk about each of your experience in Kona. You guys race on different days, but all three of us, I feel like, have been on this journey for Kona. Well, not so much Justin, but at least we've all been working together since Nice 70.3, really, in 2019. And so I think it would be fun just to kind of talk through a brief kind of overview of what did kind of the last 3 years look like, very briefly. And then, I really am interested to know what was going on in, you guys' head during the race, because Tom and I were talking, and he talked to someone who was racing him and asking him, what was going on in your head the whole time, and I thought that was very interesting. Was that you, Tom, or was that Justin?
No, that was me. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, Tom, let's start with you. The champ.
Tom, do you need to get a beer first, or are you comfy?
I kind of do, but I'm not allowed out of the bedroom because I got COVID.
Can you text your fiance?
I will. I think she's still in a meeting. Let me see.
Oh, wait. No, we need to,
Dude, you're
show.
The champ. You're
I know.
The champ. So bring the king a beer.
If anyone's wondering how Tom got COVID.
Yeah, that was not very healthy.
And then your bowl was broken?
Yes, my ball broke.
At the
But that's okay, because now it has a better story.
Like Sean Mahoney.
That was my first reaction. Yeah, Sean did a shot out of it and then put it on his head, and it fell, and it broke. So that was it.
Were you mad? That was it.
No, I wasn't mad. It was fun. It was an amazing celebration, and it's just a trophy, so it doesn't matter. Now it'll be a trophy with a great story, so it's even better.
It's true.
Yeah,
that's true. So I guess Tom has COVID. Justin's fine. A lot of people got COVID at the race. Okay, Tom. So tell us your thoughts?
So many things to talk about. What do you want to hear first? The race,
What were your expectations?
How does it feel to be champion? You're 1 week out. Obviously.
Still don't really get it. I still don't really comprehend it. It's like,
did you think you had a shot going into the race? Honestly,
I think I had a shot. I kind of started believing after St. George that I had a shot on podium, but
I need the overall win.
Not even in my wildest dreams, I would have thought I would win, especially with the margin I had.
Yeah, what was it? It was like 8 minutes, right?
It's like, I was over a mile. The guy was over a mile back.
Wow.
And I was also very in control not the whole day, but looking back, I was never mentally burying myself.
Yeah.
Except maybe the last couple of miles, but it was mostly physical, not really mental. Yeah, I don't know. I was just on my bike. I swam well and went under an hour, which was for me a big goal. I got out of the water at 59:40. Got pretty excited about that. Went to transition pretty quick, and then just started biking with this one dude who was going pretty hard. I feel, because I was going 206 watts in his wheel, legal distance wheel, but he was pushing hard, and then when I would take a pull, I would just go 260 watts, and he would recharge and reload, and boom, he would go again.
Yeah.
And then we picked up.
What were you holding, sitting legally behind him? What was that watt
My
difference?
Ironman watts, 260, 270 sometimes.
Oh, or not drafting, but legally.
Yeah, with my
him,
12 bike lanes. So 6 bike lanes, 12 meters. It was still my Ironman watt, so it couldn't be better. It couldn't be better.
Perfect. Yeah.
And it was 20 some miles until we got into Waikoloa. In the meantime, we had picked up 2 guys, one from the Swift team, and he dropped No, he stayed with us. The other guy dropped right away. So the three of us were kind of working together, and they were all fair. Like everyone was taking their pulls, and we get to Waikoloa and we picked up a massive train. Like, I mean, 10, 15 people that were not legally drafting. They were on top of each other.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to pull the whole thing. Went straight to the front and told my two guys, short, hard pulls to get away from them. So I started going, I don't know, 5 minutes, 300 plus watts, trying to drop them right away. And the guy didn't want to come over, but I was also going pretty hard. So I'm like, okay, your turn, I'll back off. But he didn't want to come. So then I just right away went by myself. I did another 5 minutes at 300, and I looked back and they were all gone. Literally, the whole train was gone.
Yeah.
And I think that one guy tried to bridge, because I looked back a couple of times, there's someone coming from the behind to work with me, but they were all like, he couldn't come back. So then it was for a long time, just me, myself, and I in no man's land, thinking, oh shit, that was dumb, because now I have no one anymore. But then on the start of the climb to Hawi, the gas station, I in the distance, very far actually, in the distance saw a few guys, and then it took at least 5 miles to get completely close to them.
Yeah.
And it took like big surges, and you know, like the last couple of 100 meters, it's like still you're not there. You're like not using them for your benefit. Like you still have to work hard. And it was like several times 280, 285 again, just to close it. And then I finally got there. I could tell that the front guy was not happy with the rest of them working together. He was kind of yelling and looking back, and so they were slowing a little bit. And then the last guy dropped right away when I got there, so I jumped right to fourth in that little group. And then the front guy like put in a massive surge. I mean, wild. Like he must have gone 350 watts. I had to go all in to first go over Engel. And then
Engel was in that pack?
Engel was in that group too. He was like right on my wheel when the guy went, and I like had to work hard, like very hard to stay with them. Like I think it was 320 watts for like almost 10 minutes.
I was going to say, when you dropped Engel, like he's one of the very few guys that beat you.
Exactly. And so when I look back, I was just trying to stay with him. I would never have attacked myself. I was trying to stay with the two front guys, and especially the second guy, he was not legal drafting. He was like too close to the front guy, and it was the front guy attacking hard. He was just sick of everyone being in his wheel. And so I jumped with him, and I looked back, and Engel was gone. And then we get to Hawi. It was like the last 3 miles he attacked. I like took a while to like stay with him. Then he kind of like slowed down a little bit, and then we rode together to Hawi. And I'm starting to think about like, okay, how many bikes are coming back? Like, where are we? Because we gotta be in the front somewhere.
Right.
And so, you know, like how you go up a Hawi and then there's a little bit of a descent at the very end. At that point, no one had still turned around, which I know is like very close to the turnaround. And no one came the other way.
Yeah, I mean, basically following the trucker, like we knew you were already at the front of the race at the turnaround.
It was so cool. Like, I was literally the third bike turning.
Yeah, me too. I was the second. I was also
so surprised. I couldn't believe
the second bike on my turnaround.
First thing I did was like, all right, this is it. I'm going straight to the front. So I went straight to the front.
Yeah, I thought that, except Marquardt was riding away from me. So I was like, I'm going straight to the front, and it never happened.
Okay, pause. Tom, when you were going up Hawi, pushing 320 for 10 minutes or whatever, like, were you thinking, like, I'm fucking up my race right now? Or did you feel, like, in control pushing right at threshold probably at that time? I mean, for sure.
I mean, it's definitely burning matches, and I wouldn't say it's in control. I wouldn't say I was... I mean, I was definitely not in control anymore. It was definitely not sustainable, but it was kind of more of a reaction. I didn't really think too much about it. I just didn't want to get dropped by that guy. And if it wasn't for him, I would never attack that way myself. Like, he literally wanted to break people.
Yeah, there's a balance. I mean, there's a balance for sure, especially in Ironman racing, where you're responding to the race and doing what you feel like you have to do to be competitive while also sticking to your plan. I mean, because I raced Thursday and Tom raced Saturday, so I had a similar experience. The first hour of my race, this giant Brazilian dude passes me going 330 watts. I'm sitting behind him 6 bike lengths, pushing like 290, way above my plan of 260. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll do this for 5 minutes and then see how it goes. And then I'm 5 minutes later, I'm like, girl, I'll do it for 5 more minutes. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I'll do it for 10 more minutes. And then I'm like looking at my heart rate, trying to justify, okay, Lauren told me don't blow up, don't go out too hard. I'm literally not listening to her. I'm 90 minutes in, averaging 280 watts. But like Mark Watt's 5 minutes up on me. This guy already passed me. There's another guy coming up on me.
You're in panic
I'm like,
mode
if
at
I
that
just let
point.
these guys, yeah, if I just let everybody go, like I'm not going to go run sub 3 marathons. So I just had
Yeah.
to make the decision, like I'm going to ride at the front of the race and see what happens. So I was definitely worried about totally blowing up on hour 5 of the bike, and thankfully I didn't. I had the preparation to back it up later on, but I was definitely, there was a moment all the way to Hovey, I would say, where I was like, this could be interesting later on. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely rolling the dice right here to go for it, but I didn't know how things would shape out.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, so it sounds like on the bike you were a little more insecure about the rest of the race than Tom, but I feel like that comes down to also like Tom's raced a ton of Ironmans, right? And maybe
I
has
was
a little more
also
experience.
I was surging, and then I would go back to my own tempo for long periods. Like when I
Yeah.
dropped him in Waikoloa, I was just riding my own watts. Like there was nothing to chase at that point. I was just doing my own thing. And then at the top of Hafi was again like a very hard effort. But then after I went to the front and I was just riding 260 like downhill on the
Yeah.
front, so in control. Where I really worried is like when I passed the 75-mile aid station, they were not set up, and I went in first. And the lady was not ready to give me water, so she kind of like scrambled and gave me a bottle, and I dropped it right away. But I
Yeah.
went through that aid station without any water, and I was out already. So I had nothing to dilute my nutrition with, my liquid nutrition, and all the way to Waikoloa, I'm riding like without water. That was like a massive
Yeah,
thing.
that's rough.
I mean, I
That's tough.
couldn't, so I had to take it in control. One of the guys came back, and then I like slowed down big time in Waikoloa in that aid station, and I grabbed like 4 bottles, and it took forever. So the guy was like, had a gap on me again, and then it's just a mental struggle of like, oh my God, I need to close this gap. I need to do another surge. I just finally got water. I'm finally like feeling cool again. I finally like feel like I'm a rhythm, and you have to go hard again just to get to him again. That
Yeah.
was pretty rough. That was a pretty tough moment. And then I started cramping too. Like right after, my left leg started cramping, and I was like, oh shit! If this guy puts in one more surge, then that's it. Like I'm giving up. Like.
I wonder, too bad he didn't know that.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
And then later I was able to talk to him at the after party, but he was also smoked. And
Yeah.
he was also like super happy to ride with me, and he wasn't going to drop me. And I could tell later on, like the last 20 miles, he didn't come over anymore either. He didn't want to take the lead. And we had a little bit of a tailwind, especially the last 15 miles.
Uh-huh.
And I was going lower and lower in watts. I was like 240, 230 maybe. And he wasn't coming over. We were going fast enough, but he wasn't
Yeah.
like coming
That
over.
tailwind must have been nice.
Was that?
Justin salty on the conditions.
Yeah.
I said that last 15-mile tailwind must have been nice. I think we were at a 20-mile-an-hour headwind for
We
30
were like-
miles.
Yeah, we were going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, we were going 19, holding 260 watts, just like,
Yeah.
you go on the front, you go on the front. Like,
Justin's gonna edit the last 10 miles of the bike, the files, and post them on this screen.
Yeah.
On this.
I'll do it.
Back to, because I feel like people want to know kind of too about the training, right? Like, what'd you do? And I would say what we did a little differently this time, at least for Tom. Justin, we haven't really had that much Ironman experience. I feel like we did a lot of intervals this year where we did like Ironman efforts, and then we did 70.3 thresholdy stuff in the middle, and then like Ironman at the end, you know? And so we practiced kind of that surge, settle back down, surge, settle back down, and being able to like recover at 260 watts, you know? And I feel like that played a big role in, just the racing dynamics that you guys were able to surge and recover and still run pretty well. Because I don't think we did that too much before St. George. So
yeah, I even remember some key sessions with Sean in Hawaii when I was training there in August with him, where he attacked me and I wasn't gonna drop, and then I attacked him, and it was a little bit more, I don't know, aggressive than what we did in the race for sure, but it definitely was like that kind of, you see someone attacking and you respond right away, or you don't have time anymore, and so kind of even that idea of then recovering again and then going hard again in our threshold workouts, that definitely helped for sure. Yeah,
or at least mentally to know you could do it, and then with Justin we did a lot of stuff where he would ride, I don't know, in the middle of nowhere 5 to 6 hours and come back home, go out 3 hours, then come back a little harder, right? So able to work hard on tired legs. So
yeah, I mean, like 2 hour warm up into like 3 by 30 minutes at 260, 270. And then the kicker is like at hour 5, you'd give us like 3 by 8 minutes at 330 watts, right?
Yeah.
At threshold. Like if you can do that on your 5th hour, you're in good shape. If you can't do it and you skip them, you're out of shape. Like that's like my test. It's like you're not in true Ironman shape if you can't do the threshold stuff at hour 5 after doing the
or you
Ironman
don't pace
stuff.
yourself well in the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah. Or 260 is not your Ironman watts, right? And
or you screwed up your hydration and nutrition that day and you need to go back to the drawing board. But like it's truly like it's like veering towards some of the stuff the Norwegians are doing around like practicing a race type effort and environment in training.
Yeah. I would have loved for you guys to live in the same place and train for this race together. That would have been fun.
We should mention that we went to Kona together, 11 days early, 13 days early for you, Tom?
Yeah. That is
true.
It
was 2 weeks. We were 2 weeks. Yeah, we were there for 18 days together.
Yeah.
Working remotely, finishing our session or finishing work at like 1 o'clock.
Actually being in Hawaii.
Yeah, we got to ride Hawaii 3 times. We did the full course swim 3 or 4 times. We ran in the energy lab. We did 10 miles off the bike after a 90-mile day. Like I felt so much more confident after actually being in the environment, practicing the nutrition, feeling the grades and feeling the heat, like knowing what's sustainable and what's not was a big part of it. And
so you would suggest to get there early or to go for a camp a little bit out?
I think either. I mean, it's logistically, Tom did both. Just to be clear, viewers, Tom was in Kona for 5 out of 7 weeks. And
he's
also
retired now, though.
I know. Tom's retired. Yeah. Tom's fully
I think the training camp in Kona helped a lot with knowing the different conditions that can be there.
Yeah.
Training every day and then seeing the wind change and the temperature change and just different conditions on the bike definitely helped. I think, do I need that again? Probably not, because now I kind of know. But going early, like 2 weeks early, and especially having that first very relaxing week before all the craziness, I think that made the difference. That I think made the difference for me. Just being there, working, but still training in the conditions.
Well, it was just the 2 of us. The roads aren't crowded. I mean, Kona week is insane. It's anxiety inducing just to walk around downtown on race week. And the week before that, it was like Tom and I had the place to ourselves and there were a bunch of pros. That was it. It was super cool. But I show up with a broken bike. I had 4 or 5 days to fix that. I mean, it was a headache, but it was a headache 11 days before the race. Had I gotten there the weekend before the race, it would have been a nightmare.
No chance, dude. They couldn't.
Yeah, like I would have been I rode a rental bike and it was literally, what did the measurement? 60 watts slower, Tom? 70 watts slower?
That was
Tom dropped me immediately at 270 watts, like completely gone. Like I thought I was so out of shape. I was like, oh, I'm so in trouble.
You handle that situation? Yeah, for everybody, Justin arrived with his frame broken and you were so chill about it. I mean, it was pretty impressive, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm over here like planning, well, he's doing 70.3 worlds, I guess. Like changing your training.
I'm like, Tom, I'm gonna ride Tom's bike on Thursday. He didn't like that idea, but I did.
Not want that.
Somebody would have done it. Okay, Tom, the marathon now. You get off the bike. Are you in the lead of the race?
Mm-hmm.
I had too many beers by this point. I'm too excited.
I'm
spectating.
Yeah, I came off the bike first. The guy passed me in transition, and I passed him right before the exit of transition again. So he was running literally on my heels. I still didn't know he wasn't in my age group, so I didn't know he wasn't even really my competition. And then I don't know, started running my own pace, trying to drop him a little bit, but still trying to stay in control, very in control, thinking about like, don't do anything stupid, just to run your own pace. But I felt really good.
What pace did you start out at? 6:50?
6:30.
Yeah, I probably was running 6:30 splits the first 7.
Did you think you would hold that?
That's Tom's running outfit.
I mean, I knew I wasn't gonna like hold that the whole marathon, but I felt very in control, heart rate in control. Was able to breathe properly.
And I think you said you were like, you knew that pace was okay to get some time on people. Like, you knew you would ultimately slow down, of course, but it didn't feel too aggressive.
And it was mostly like I would hold back a little bit on the uphills, the little hills on Alihi. But then just naturally my average pace would come down because I would be running so much faster on the downhills.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching you on mile 3, and you were already in the lead, looking like completely in control, cadence over 180, like completely locked in. I tried to get you to smile. I think we like waved our shirts around or something.
I'm already in the zone.
You cracked a little smile, but you were so locked in. And then from there, it was frankly a little bit of a boring race. Like you took the lead, you put 20 seconds a mile on everybody behind you the entire marathon. And then I was out on the Queen K at mile 22, 23, 24 cheering for you, but you're like, what's the gap? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
just smile. Always kind of wondering, like,
you even 8 minutes, dude. You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
you never know.
It's so much anxiety.
Yeah, and it was like really nice to like have very regular splits too from different people even, because then no one is messing up. Like if your 2-minute lead suddenly becomes 3 minutes and someone else tells you, and then little 2 miles later it becomes 4 minutes, you know that they're not messing up the tracker. It's like very consistently getting longer. And then at mile 12 I was 6 minutes, and then at the energy lap I was like, I'm gonna give myself my own split now. At the turnaround you can measure like on your watch. And I was, please don't be less than 3 minutes when I pass Engel. Like, please don't be less than 3.
So that's the only one you knew in your age group, Engel?
Well, I knew he was second.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Got it.
And so I knew he was coming from me, but I also, from the last split, I was running faster. So I was like, please don't be less than 6 minutes, but because that means he sped up and I'm slowing down.
Closing, yeah.
Well, and he outran you at St. George. I mean, he's a great runner.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. And I mean, it's still 10 miles at that point.
Still 10 miles, yeah.
A lot of things can happen.
30 seconds a mile. I mean, I gave up 4th to 5th in the last 5 miles. And then the guy beat me by 7 minutes or something. Especially if a guy's running 250, 253, which like there were several guys in the race doing that. Like you are never safe.
Yeah.
You can totally come back. Yeah, my first half marathon was 127, but I ended up running, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something. So my second half marathon was a lot slower than the first half marathon. So I was definitely fading a little bit. It just depends on like who else is fading and how much. And if they're really coming for you, then. But
so when you saw the gap to Engel, what did you think? I mean, you knew you were going to win.
So at the turnaround, it was like over 7 minutes. Like on my watch, it was over 3.5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, thank God, that's great." And then you start calculating to the point where that is still possible. Like if it's 10 more miles and you have a 7-minute gap, then he needs to run almost 45 seconds per mile faster.
Yeah.
To just just run 7:10.
Yeah, you're like, there's no way he's going faster than 6:30. Like,
Exactly.
no way.
Exactly. So it's like, but then, yeah, that's kind of like how you try to like even justify starting to, because I was starting to run slower, right? You're starting to justify like, I'm good. I'm going not 6:30 anymore. Now I'm running 7:10, but 7:10 is still good enough because even with my gap, like if he still runs 6:30, it's fine. So like that's kind of how I like try to be positive.
Yeah.
And then, but then at the 20
I will
mile,
say what's really interesting about that whole section from the energy lab all the way to the finish, regardless of who you are, is like you start to, no matter how fast you're running or how well you're running, you start to play the mind games, like just in such deep, dark places where you actually think you're the only one that's hurting. Like
totally.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm slowing down. They must all still be running 6:30 pace. Like nobody is still running the same pace they were running. Like maybe Gustav
Chelsea.
or a couple, Chelsea, yeah. Chelsea, Gustav, but like even the best, even Christian, even the top guys in our age group, like you're losing at least a few minutes on the back half.
For sure, dude. The heat,
you're holding
like,
back
what?
in the beginning. It's still so comfortable in the beginning, but still at the end it just becomes brutal.
Did you ever have a moment in the race, Tom, where you thought, like, I know I'm winning, but I just like I can't go anymore? Or did you?
The scariest moment was for sure on the bike. I think it was around mile 80, no, maybe 90. Like just
when you cramped?
Quite a lot when I cramped. My whole left leg cramped. And I had to like pedal a little bit more with my right foot. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to drink as much as I can. Ate more, like chugged like calories, like crazy. Way too much, which is scary for your stomach. It's scary like for a lot of things. But it kind of like felt more like it didn't go away. Because even at the end of the bike, getting off my bike, I wasn't going to swing my leg over my bike anymore, because then you have to put all your strength into your left foot on your pedal.
Wow.
And I didn't want to do that, so I like jumped off like a little boy off my bike, and it is.
Do we have that on video?
No, I didn't. I don't. I actually looked, but it didn't. Luckily, didn't make a movie. It was not the smoothest transition for sure.
But these are things, you guys. I like you've learned. Like I think these are moments athletically, and I call this athletic maturity. That like even as a coach, right? People are texting me during workouts, like, "What should I do?" And sometimes you just gotta like figure it out, you know? And I think, I don't know, all these decisions you made, even I would have never thought of that. Oh, I'm not putting all my weight on one leg to get off my bike. Like, that's genius, dude. Yeah.
Well, it's just you try to be as conservative as possible. And I also knew that even if I cramp on the bike, which has happened before, it doesn't impact my run. So I just wanted to get to the run and see how I felt. And I never cramped in the first 22 miles of the run. And then at the very end, it started being mostly physical. Like usually at the very end of a marathon of the bike, it's all in my head. Like 95% is mental. For the very first time, and it's probably because I had such a big lead, it wasn't 95% mental. It was more 50-50, where I'm holding on to winning and using that as energy to push myself, but I'm destroyed, and every single muscle in my leg is destroyed, and it's painful to even jog. And I give myself a little bit of a break in the aid stations, but you don't want to walk, you don't want to cramp, you don't want to go down Palani and fall. Like you want to be conservative, but you still want to get it over with as soon as you can, because it's a matter of time before. And I was so sleepy. I was so like, I had to chug 2 caffeine gels to like stay focused. I couldn't like, I was running down Queen K, and I was thinking, oh my God, I can totally fall asleep right now. Isn't that crazy?
I think that's just lack of calories, dude.
Yeah.
But
I was just kind of
I mean, your brain is like, I feel like you're shutting down at this point. I think physically you felt that because this was by far your best performance. I mean, I think you got every ounce. Maybe you could have run 3 hours, maybe a couple of minutes faster on the marathon, but like, dude, I think that was your limit.
Yeah, I think so too. Totally. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, like, I don't think I mentally had to go as deep as like Justin did, for example, on his run. I think for him it was like 99% mental and 1% physical at the very end. So maybe if I somehow had to push myself, who knows? Like, I don't know, maybe I couldn't really physically push myself more, and a mental push would not have helped. But yeah, I was very close to my limit. Very close to my limit.
Yeah. That's great, dude.
Yeah, it was epic to actually get to watch each other's race too. I mean, that was something that was unique about Thursday and Saturday. Obviously, we've raced and trained together for years, and then we go to Kona early together, train. You know, and Tom and I are like identical on the bike, basically, for almost all of our workouts. 70.3, our Santa Cruz splits were 30 seconds apart. And Tom's a stronger marathon Ironman runner by, 1-2%. I've been a little bit stronger than 70.3 by 1-2%, but it's like, then to be out there on the Queen K screaming at the other guy, like for me hanging onto the podium and for Tom to win, it was so epic.
Yeah.
So epic.
That was definitely one of the highlights of the week. Justin going back and forth with this dude.
I know. Let's hear about the battle.
Eventually broke him, like totally broke him. Starts running away from him, and this random guy comes all the way from behind and start chasing Justin and running him down.
And Justin has no idea.
And I had no idea. No, I thought.
But me and Tom are texting like, "Holy shit, dude!"
And was screaming at him in the last aid station not to walk it and to just keep jogging, keep moving. And then on the very last turn, Justin turned on on Alihi to go to the finish. And I'm like, okay, you got it, because I don't see him coming down the hill yet. And as soon as Justin turns to take that last couple of 100 meters, this guy comes down, bombing down the hill. I mean, running low 6 minutes a mile. Yeah. And we were all like, oh shit, is he going to make it? And then
I was cramping every 3 steps, basically like, how slow can I run, Tom? Can I slow down? Can I slow down?
No.
Just dying. Yeah.
And you hear, no, you can't. And you're like, fuck. It's like Oceanside. Yeah. Remember Tim Hall was chasing you at Oceanside last year?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was brutal. I lost by 14 seconds in that race. I know what that feels like. I mean, I've had so many races where I'm off the bike in a comfortable position and then just, anxiety mode throughout the whole run, looking over my shoulder, wondering, okay, the gap has gone. Unlike Tom, where it's growing on the run, it's always 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. And then do I hold them off or not? So it's a different way to race. And it's, super stressful. But honestly, I was super happy with it, because the real battle of the day, was going back and forth with this guy. His name's Timo Sheffield, the German. I've since reached out to him, and we went back and forth on Instagram, just what an amazing race, because we were back and forth probably 15 times, no joke, between the hardest miles of the race. Wow. 17 to 24, 17 to 23. He caught me, meaning, oh, I'm off the podium, right? That gets in your head. I'm thinking, oh, I'm comfortable in 6th place, whatever. And then, I wasn't giving up, but I was definitely a little bit discouraged at that point, because I'm like, oh my God, I still have 8 miles to go. I'm off the podium and 4 guys have already passed me. More are coming. But then I realize I'm running pretty strong still. I'm running 720, 725 pace. I haven't really walked. I haven't blown up. I got my calories in. So you start to be positive, and it just kind of flips the script. And then I see him walking, holding his hamstring, turns around, and I'm like, that's the moment of weakness. But he was still hundreds of yards ahead. I would have had to have binoculars to see this guy. But I'm like, oh my God, there he is. We still have a 10K. It's not over if a guy's holding his hamstring with 10K to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, that. I'm not that bad yet. So then I just hunt him down. We go back and forth. And then I swear we get to 1 aid station. We both gave up at the exact same time. We were hoping the other person would just drop the other guy so we could, because we were suffering so deeply. And then I laid down in this kiddie pool full of ice. He sprawled over the Coke table and starts just taking in 10 drinks for no reason. And then we both look at each other and neither of us are even moving. My elapsed time is 3:17 and my moving time is 3:15. There was a full 2 minutes where I was like, I'm going to just lay in this ice pool and stop. I don't care. You just get you can get so discouraged when you're in
Wow,
the
I
thick
didn't
of
know
it.
that. I thought you stopped 30 seconds.
I stopped 30 seconds there, but then, yeah, when you add up all
For the
the other,
race. Yeah.
these little moments where you're like, I'm just going to drink, or I dunked my head mile 8 on the Pawnee. That's when I jumped up and saw Ferdino like yelling at me in the face. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So all those little moments anyway, I finally ended up just like cracking this guy. He walked and it finished in like 8th or 9th. So like pretty much crumbled. And then the rest of the race, I was kind of by myself thinking I had it. If I didn't blow up, just keep running. And then that's when I almost didn't have it by 23 seconds. But I posted on Instagram this week, like, it's cool to achieve your goal by a tiny, tiny margin, because it shows that all the little things matter, I guess, is just one reflection.
For sure. And you did both you guys did all the little things this year. And like, I mean, I have it written down in Tom's file, at least when we started. We started training in like September. You won Ironman Cozumel 2019. And we kind of decided it was going to take 1 hour swim, 260 watts, and a 3-hour marathon. We're like, that's what we need to do. I have it written down in your file. And like, since 2019, we've been targeting, or at least I have, coaching you. I'm like, these are the benchmarks we need to be at, right? To put you in a position to podium. And it's like wild that like, it's exactly what you did. 59 minutes, 261, 304. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. And even as a coach now, I think my approach, especially for Ironman, is like, let's figure out what it's going to take, right? And then let's get there. Instead of being like, I want to win this, right? And reaching those benchmarks. And if you are there, then you are in the conversation, right? And that approach at least worked extremely well for you. And even Justin, we've done kind of the same in 70.3. We're just like, this is what you need to do to win, right? Like, to beat Jan Stepinski, this is what you got to do, right? And it's been really fun for me too, just to like keep collecting data over you guys and seeing kind of what it takes to be winning these races. And I don't know. I'm excited. Justin now is going pro.
I'm done winning for a while. So is Tom, apparently. He's gonna put on 10 pounds and start to snowboard a little bit more, I guess.
Grow a belly, go skiing, do some cyclocross races.
Yeah. Tom's taking he's retired or taking a break. We don't know. We won't write him off yet. But yeah, Justin's going to go pro.
A little bit.
Exactly. I'm hoping, though, you still want to train for Boston. I'm like, fingers crossed. But
maybe.
You can run a 3:15 with me, Tom. I'm going to jog Boston.
Exactly. Maybe.
Maybe Coach will be there. Who knows?
That'd be sick.
I have not figured it out.
That would be sick.
I don't know.
Would you race Boston if you do well in CIM, Lauren?
You know, I don't like the hills, dude. I'm not good at the hills. I like flat and fast. So, of course, I would race Boston, but I don't know, since I'm like trying to like prepare for Olympic trials and marathon, I don't know if I would do that. I only get 3 marathons before trials. So I don't know if I would choose that. But also it depends what trials it's going to be, because they haven't even announced it yet. It's either Orlando or Chattanooga. So it's either flat or
month? What month is trials?
It will be February of 2024.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to do CIM, a spring marathon, a fall marathon, and then wherever
trials is. Nice.
Yeah, guys. Still training over here.
Las Vegas camp in a few weeks. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Tom, you want to come?
When is it?
Las Vegas camp. Coach is coming to Vegas.
Which day?
The week before Thanksgiving. If anybody in Vegas wants to come train with us. And then, Tom, we're going to have a Black Sheep camp in February, and you're going to have to come to that as an honorary member. You can ride with me.
There you go. That's my TT bike. Maybe.
So, okay, Justin, you have Indian Wells coming up next. We're skipping 70.3 Worlds.
Yeah.
Justin's making his pro debut. And Tom's going offline for a
Mic
bit.
drop. Boom. That's it.
Dude.
Mic drop.
I'm out.
And as disappointed as I am to not be coaching you anymore, Tom, just because it was fun, like, well, that's questionable. It was,
It's
Tom is
tough.
a PhD. Yeah, for our
It's
viewers here,
interesting.
Tom is a PhD scientist
I'm
and
the
questions
highest
every
athlete you can get
single
to, coach.
workout that he's given. He questions why and what is the scientific approach to it. Pretty
Especially when you
amazing.
have a bad day.
Tom, my lactate today on my workout was 4.2, and I texted Justin. I was like, I'm so frustrated. I feel like Tom. Why is my lactate high?
I just did. I was just like, okay.
But come on, that's what makes a champion. And I mean, as I feel like our coaching relationship was very productive, and I told Tom this. I'll tell our viewers this. It challenged me to be a better coach, and I've learned so much through you guys. If I didn't coach you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at. No way. No way at all. So it's been awesome. And it's been awesome to kind of do this all together, me as like a new coach and you guys kind of doing this. Like we all kind of built it together. Even my like business and career as a coach. You will always be part of that. So that's pretty cool. Like I'll never forget you guys the rest of my life.
Well, I'm not going anywhere, so don't include me in this conversation.
I know, and I might hire Tom as our new Olav, as our sports scientist.
That would be
There you
awesome.
go.
I know, right?
Yeah, that'd
Take
be
some
super
lactate
cool.
samples.
Just as a little hobby, Tom.
Yeah.
Side.
Just 10 hours a week as a little hobby.
Me and Tom together will make you fast, Justin. So we'll work
Sounds
together.
good. I look forward to it. Got to start running 115 off the bike, and then I'll be in conversations for a podium. So we'll see.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll make another video after Indian Wells. I'll end this
Yep.
one.
This was great.
And
Congrats, you guys.
Good luck in Indian Wells, buddy.